Welcome, everyone, to week 11 of the Maroon Momentum Show. I am your host, as always, Jonathan Duff, and we are proud to be brought to you by John Clark State Farm. If you haven't reviewed your insurance needs in a while, or if you don't have insurance, why don't you go ahead and check out John Clark State Farm in Richmond. New office, been open probably about 8 months, but I'm just free going on that one, so don't take my word for it. But I always say this, their slogan is count on Clark, and that could not be more true. John Clark is a stand-up guy. If you have the chance, stop in when you're in Richmond. It is definitely worth your time, and he will take care of you. So with that said, I'm proud to be here on a victorious Thursday. As I always say, it's nice to coming off of a win against Central Arkansas. I know a lot of people hate Central Arkansas for good reason. I am one of those people. So to see a big win, a dominant win against Central Arkansas is always amazing. Let's go ahead and look kind of at the numbers of last week. Obviously, you have to talk about Marcus Cowwise, 6 catches. 3 of those catches were for touchdowns, 106 receiving yards, 51 kickoff return yards. I'm going to go ahead and read down the stats. You got Miles, went 18 to 27, 209, 4 total touchdowns, a pick, and then 61 rushing yards. Hensley and Latham, both almost 100 all-purpose yards between the two of them. Braden Sullivan, 9 tackles. Derek Taylor, 8 tackles, an interception, and what should have been a fumble recovery, in my opinion. Contavian Frank stepped in for the injured Caden Smith, and we really do hope all is well with Caden with that scary injury. But Contavian Franks comes in, off the bench, which he obviously has played a decent amount this year, but to see a guy who was a very highly touted transfer come in, make an immediate impact, 8 tackles and an interception. And then Jeffrey Kinley getting his first career interception was awesome to see, too, on that trick play where everyone stayed home and did their job there. So it was an exciting week. Like I said, always good to see the Colonels beat up on Central Arkansas. I do have some friends who hit the transfer portal at one time and got offers from Central Arkansas and their coach's recruiting pitch was just look at our history against you guys. I believe that takes the total to 5 wins and 2 losses in the last 6 years. Yes, my math is right because we played them twice in 1 year. So continued dominance over Central Arkansas. Kind of keys to the game there. Turnovers, obviously winning the turnover battle there and creating a lot of interceptions and chaos. But I think the big thing was getting out in front early. Kind of once that lead started to grow, they stopped feeding that running back and had to throw, which I'm excited to talk to Derek Taylor later, who's one of the people who got that one of the interceptions this weekend and has been a dominant player for the Colonel defense all year long, as well as just the fact that on that defensive line, we had a lot of pass rush get home on Saturday, forcing some wild throws. I think the quarterback went 11 to 27. So it's a testament to both the DBs and really everybody on the team. But I'm excited to talk to Derek. And then I just think all 3 phases played well. We finally saw what the offensive potential is in terms of we've seen it a few times, but I think it looked even better, probably the best it's been on Saturday. Miles got out and ran super well. Obviously, the running backs, we have a 2-headed monster. And then to get Cowwise the ball, everyone's preaching all year. Get Cowwise the ball. He's one of the best players on the field everyone he steps on. So it's awesome to see him do that. And then my first guest today, I'm excited to talk to Liam Coppinger. He's a leader on that offensive line that's been able to pave the way for these 2 awesome running backs that we have, and Miles getting 61 rushing yards. So I'm excited to talk to him coming off of this victory. Thank you all for tuning in once again. Check out John Clark State Farm in Richmond. And here we go. Here's our first guest, former teammate of mine, 2-year starter here for the Eastern Kentucky Colonels, and our starting center, Liam Coppinger.
How we doing?
I'm good, Liam. How are you doing?
Good.
All right, Liam. So we're coming off of a big win. Offense is clicking on all cylinders. What's the temperature of the team this week? How are you guys feeling?
We're just looking for an even bigger week this week. Southern Utah lost to them last year in a tough one, and we want to go on that run again like we did last year. Really push for the playoffs again and finish out.
Absolutely, and I really can't stress enough. The offense looked incredible this week, and I think it gives everyone excitement because we've known the potential that's there, and you have to deal with the ebbs and flows of the season. But to see the offense at full blast, it's exciting to see. I kind of want to take a step back and kind of ask you, just because we do have 2 guys with cool journeys in terms of using the transfer portal and coming to EKU, you and Derek today that we're going to get to talk to. You went to the College of Idaho before this, obviously was I don't know the whole team, but obviously one of the best players there, an impact player, one of the best players in the competition, in the conference, in the league, everything that you can say there. And then you come to EKU and you start immediately. I do want to ask about that, but first, when you were going through that process about 2 years ago, what made you decide EKU out of the portal?
Honestly, like I had a great visit. I got to go with John and Pat, and they were my hosts. And I mean, they just showed me a great time. I mean, I love the community and like kind of the history, Roy Kidd and all that stuff that we got going on here. And it was honestly like probably the most like in touch I felt with the program. Like you felt like the fans were connected. You felt like the community was behind you. And it just felt like a great fit. And like, I just kind of knew the second I came here, this is where I wanted to play.
That's amazing. And I think that a lot of people say that. I mean, there's very rich tradition here at Eastern Kentucky, and it's something that's really cool to be a part of. When you look at, you're an out west kid, you're from Washington, you went to college to Idaho. Was there any culture shock or just shock at the move and decision to come out here to Kentucky and play ball?
Yeah, besides like my family being obviously a little taken off, moving across the country, but it was hard understanding people when I first got here. Like on my visit, I would just kind of like smile and laugh when people were talking because I had no idea what they were saying. Like the Southern accent was so hard for me to get down. And like Cox was the worst. Like he would like be talking to me. I'd be like, "Yep, oh yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, yeah." I'm like, I don't know what he said.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be. I can imagine that would be a struggle. I bet it's a culture shock when you play some of those teams maybe down in Arkansas this past weekend. I think they may have some thicker country accents, and you get down
Yeah.
towards Texas. Yeah, I'm sure that's a fun time. Um, Now, this is the one thing that's interesting for you and Derek both, as I'm going to allude to later that I talked to him. You came to EKU and you almost started immediately. There has to be challenges with coming in. Some guys have played together for 2, 3, 4 years already. You come in, you're new to a place. Anywhere that you're new, it's a challenge. But to come in right away, have to learn a whole new system, and to be able to start that following fall, I would imagine is an incredible challenge. Will you tell me kind of what your perspective was on that, and
Yeah,
how did you navigate it too?
I think I was really fortunate when I came in, having Peyton and John and a lot of those older guys, I mean, multiple All Americans in that room and like being able to kind of listen to what they want and like kind of just kind of learning from them. Cause I mean, they just knew so much more than me, especially coming from like a lower division. There's just things that you aren't taught or like that are as common, especially when the competition gets better. So it was great learning from them, because I started the season off at right, and then with injuries I had to move to left, and I was just really fortunate to get played next to some guys, and then like them helping me, study the playbook and learn the calls and everything, because like it's completely different. Like schemes can be the same, but like trying to understand the verbiage and like remembering that's back when we did the hand signals. So then learning all the hand signals and all that stuff too.
Yeah, I'm sure that would be a challenge, and it seemed, you navigated that seamlessly for people, just outside looking in, and I'm sure that's a lot to be thrown at you. You mentioned kind of switching from right guard to left guard last year. This year, you're center. I talked to Anthony Johns last week. I've talked to Tone about this on the show. Playing a line, a guard is not the same as playing a center, as the same as playing a tackle, but you guys have a lot of people that have that versatility. It's a two-part question. How important is it to have that versatility, but also how challenging is it to be ready to go in at any time at any position?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a challenge. I mean, because each part of the O line has different aspects, different techniques, but I think it is really important because like we like to say like the best five on the field, and like sometimes you got to play a different position to keep the best five on the field. Like if someone goes down, you got to fill in because some backups are better than others. So it's just really making sure that everybody can do what they can to make sure that we are like the best we can be. Which, like at first, it can be kind of hard, like going from guard to center or like left to right. But like once you get it down, it flows a little better.
That makes sense. And one of the challenges that seems very hard to me, and it may not be hard, but to me, if you're playing right guard to switch to left guard, you have to change your first step, which to me, if I'm lining up to run a sprint, I'm always putting my left foot forward, my right foot back, and I'm doing that every time. If I switch that up, it feels very weird. Is that kind of one of the challenges to navigating both sides of the line, or am I
Yeah.
completely making that up?
Oh yeah, because I remember it was going into Moorhead last year. I got switched to left, and I just felt like I had never played football before at practice. I mean, I was just getting like ran through, and I was like, I don't know how to do this. Like, I had to spend extra time, and I was like, oh my goodness, please be better by Saturday.
I would imagine. I mean, I remember literally trying to practice running with the other foot, and I would false step every time. I'd imagine it would be a nightmare.
Yeah,
So it's definitely something that I think goes unnoticed. We talk about the O-line position all the time throughout all of people who play football. It's one of the toughest positions on the field, most underappreciated because there are no stats that's showing up in the box score. But to be able to do those things cannot go unnoticed in terms of we need to shed light on them. But now I kind of want to talk about, you come into this season. Last year we lost at least four offensive linemen to my rough calculation. But you are one of the lone returning people. Obviously, Tone and everyone was on the team. Bun played a bit, had gotten hurt, but you were one of the few returning starters, if maybe the only returning starter at that point. How different was that for a role shift for you into the offseason to become, new guy to old guy real quick? And how did you navigate that as well?
yeah. I mean, like I was talking about earlier, like last year for me, it was more being a student of the game and just sitting back and listening and trying to learn. And this year, it's kind of switched to I got to be the guy that knows everything and like teach everybody and like it's been fun. I like it. I enjoy it. I mean, it kind of it brought everybody together. Just like all the times we took studying extra film sessions and like relearning the offense just so we know what everybody's doing. It's different, but it's been fun and like challenging at the same time, if that makes sense. I guess.
I can imagine. I mean, to be the one um, that's receiving coaching is easier sometimes than being the one that's giving it out, and then also have to worry about what you're doing. So I can imagine that would be a lot to juggle, but you're doing it really well. I mean, obviously the offensive line coming off a great game last week, and you personally coming off a great game. I talked to Anthony about this because he's played some center this year, and you've been starting center this year. How we talked about film last week. The O line may watch the most film out of anybody, and that could be challenged later. Maybe Derek has something to say about that. But the O line watches a lot of film as a group, and the center seemingly. I always remember living with John Stone and asking him because he knew everything about the opposing defense we were playing. Approximately, what's the film schedule look like during the week? How often are you guys in watching film, and what does that look like on a weekly basis?
So it starts. Our week now starts on Tuesday. So Tuesday at 7:30, all the centers get in, and we'll watch for about half an hour to 45 minutes. So we do that every day after Tuesday, and then we got our O line meeting starts at 1:40, and that goes to about 2:30, 2:15, and then after, if like we're not something's not clicking or we're not really understanding, we'll come back later that night after practice or after the team dinner, do a little more film study, and then on Thursday, we got one reel after practice, and usually the O line will stay, watch the cut up of all the blitzes, just so we can find key like indicators and stuff. And then I think that's mostly it. I mean, obviously we do like probably an hour or so on Friday, just throughout the day, meeting with people and stuff. So, I mean, it'd probably be about 15 hours a week of just film
And
study.
And that's group study. I can't imagine too, just being at home or individual study with your login, what
Yeah.
that looks like too. Um, it's incredible. You guys have to balance a lot. When you look at this season and the offensive line's production and everything, it's been awesome to see, but there has been kind of, I would say, a shift in scheme, maybe. I don't know if maybe that's the wrong word, but coming into this year in terms of or philosophy, where we're rotating a lot of guys. um I know people may have opinions on that shift, but what's that like to always be rotating guys? And how do you guys navigate the chemistry and communication amongst more than just five guys that are going to go in there and play during a game?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't something new to us come game time. I mean, it'd been something we'd been doing quite a bit in the off season too. And so you just kind of had to get extra reps in with people because, I mean, everybody does stuff like, even if it's the same technique, just a little differently. So, I mean, it can be challenging at sometimes for sure. But I think we've come together really well and like worked on it. So, like, when different people are in, we know how they're going to react to certain situations. And like, big thing for us is just communication. I mean, just talking on the line, over communicating, even if it's gives up what we're doing, we still pretty much are daring you to beat us to do it.
Right. Absolutely. And I think that's a theme that we've heard a lot in terms of just defenses, offensive lines, people that have to work together as a group and just communicating so everyone's on the same page. It's good to hear, I think a lot of people look outside in. I'm learning on the fan side of things. A lot of people look outside in and make assumptions about different things. And then you sit here and say, we did that in practice. So it's something that's cool to see. These guys have been gelling for a while, and the ability to keep everybody fresh, keep everyone going, so that you can pound the rock with that two-headed monster and
Yeah.
also keep Miles clean. Let's talk about Saturday. I mean, the offense seemingly was unstoppable there for most of the day. Jacob Baker only went out for one punt. He let me know immediately after the game, I only played one rep and it was a pooch punt. So the offense is doing their job if that happens. So kind of what clicked on Saturday and what are you guys looking to build on going into this week?
I think we just finally really came together. I mean, we were all on the same page. It felt like every play, and it was like we knew what was going to happen before it happened. Like we could read the defense. I mean, we were calling out things before they even shifted, and it just felt like we couldn't be stopped. I mean, we kept marching down the full length of the field every time, going for points, and like even on a 2 minute drive, we drove it 80 yards down the field or something like that. I mean, it just felt to me, it just I can't even explain the feeling. It was just great. It was moving.
I can imagine. I mean, imposing your will on somebody's got to be fun. Now, I do have a curious question, just a preference, and maybe you're going to just say points on the board. But when it comes to pass blocking and getting the ball down the field and the air attack just clicking with Miles and Cal Wise and everything, or it comes to Latham pounding the rock for 10 yards, Brady Hensley coming in giving you 10 yards, another running back coming in, boom, 50-yard run. Which one do we prefer as offensive linemen, or is it just points on the board?
I mean, the Cowboys catch, you kind of like look up and you're like, oh, that's double coverage, and then you kind of just see him jump over everybody. You're like, oh, that's
Right.
sick. I'm like running down the field, I'm screaming, I'm getting hyped. I mean, those ones are those big catches are fun. Um, I think there's nothing more electric though than like being a yard out and like the defense knows you're gonna run it, you're gonna run it, and you get the touchdown, and it is just it's a party in the end zone. I mean, it is the
Yeah.
funnest time in the world.
I can imagine when you go to the end zone when the running backs are there. I know you lift them up a lot. Have we ever coordinated another kind of celebration too, or is that the go-to, because that's the signature
It
O-line
is.
touchdown.
There might be one in the works this week. We'll see.
Oh, is there? Okay,
There might
awesome.
be.
Well,
We'll see.
all right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Me and Stone will be there on Saturday, so I'm excited about that. When it comes to playing center and having a QB sneak behind you, I'm curious on this one. Um, You're at the bottom of the pile. Is that another one where it's a feel good moment, or is that like, man, I wish we would have called inside zone maybe?
It's a listen to the crowd to figure out if we score kind of moment. I mean,
That's a
if we're
good
at home
answer.
and it's going crazy, I know we're in, and if we're away and it's quiet, I know we got in. And you just kind of got to lay there and wait for like 1,000 pounds to get off. It's just as fun when you get up. I mean, I get pumped for those touchdowns.
There you go. That's a good answer. When you look at the team that you have and the offense that you guys have, obviously Miles has proven to take some hits and be tough and be able to get yards running sometimes. But I've mentioned it a bunch. You got Latham behind you, who has proven to be an incredible running back, and now you got Brady Hensley, who's emerged to be an incredible running back as well. Anyone that saw him last year in practice knew that this was coming. But you got two incredible running backs. What's it like to be able to block for them? And I guess really just the confidence that you have behind you, and kind of just talk about the talent that you have behind you.
Yeah, I mean, we never have to worry about the running back. I mean, we are only focused on us because we know the guys behind us will get the job done. I mean, don't matter who's in. I mean, I would trust our fourth string running back, last guy on the depth chart. I don't care who, because like that entire room is just stacked. It's
Hmm.
insane how well we recruit running backs. I mean, you watch Brady Hensley run through some people's face, or you watch BB outrun the entire defense. I mean, you're just like, all right, yeah, we'll block it. You guys go do you, and we'll get a touchdown.
It is awesome to see because the running back room has been loaded 3, 4, 5 deep ever since I got to Richmond, to be honest. So it's fun to see that carry on. And I think that their room has such great chemistry in the way that they celebrate each other. Um, Talking about you now, I mean, you're a senior. I'm just making sure, is this the last year of eligibility?
As far as I know, unless they're granting more years, this is it for me.
Unless you get the Diego Pavia plan, maybe you can put a waiver in for something.
Yeah, maybe come back for the Masters.
Well, so then let's talk about, senior year, your last year of football. You're coming into your last few games of a regular season. What's that just feel like, perspective right now for you? Has anything clicked? And then on top of that, when football's over, maybe a 20-year pro career, we don't know, but whenever football is over, what is the goal for you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it hasn't really set in yet. It probably will, like the second to last game of whenever it is over. But I'm just kind of like living every day, just one day at a time, just focusing on what's ahead. Not worrying about too far in the future or whatnot. But once football's done, I'm planning on law school. So that's going to be another fun challenge after football. But I always say this now. I'm pretty sure law school will be easier than college football. So I mean, how big can it be? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to put in hours either way, so you
Exactly.
might as well do that there. I mean, I think Kyle Kelly started his law school. We got a few old teammates that are doing law school route, and I can't be more proud of them. And I'm going to say the same about you. That's a very challenging course load to manage, but I'm sure you're going to excel in it. Looking ahead to this week, you got Southern Utah. Mr. Film Study. What are we looking at as fans? You don't have to tip their hand, but as
Okay.
fans, what are we looking at to see out of this Southern Utah defense, maybe in what they run? And, well, let's just start with that.
I mean, they're going to be a pretty base defense. You're not going to see too many blitzes. You're going to see a little twisting on the D line. I mean, the best players, they're number 7. He's a D end. I believe he leads the nation in sacks, or second in the nation in sacks, leads the nation in sacks per game.
Wow.
So we got our stuff for him. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be a good matchup. I'm really excited to see after last week us just go on from there. Just put up a bigger and better game than we had last week.
That's perfect. And my next question for you was, what was the goal for the offense coming off of an incredible game last week? And you've just kind of highlighted it. But is there anything else too, just other than just building on it?
Yeah, I think a lot of fans saw last week and think we did really good. And I do think we did a lot better, but there were still mistakes that we came to fix, and we fixed them this week. So I'm expecting a bigger game from us.
That's amazing. I can't wait to watch it. My final question for this session of you, coming from the out west, Washington and Idaho, what is your favorite part? What is your favorite place here in Richmond, Kentucky?
I got to go with that restaurant by your house, the Straight Out of Texas. I'm a big
Yeah,
fan. You'll catch me there at least once a week. I mean, I can't get enough of it.
that's awesome. They're good people too. They're good people too there. Well, awesome. Well, Liam, I mean, I cannot be more thankful for you coming on today. I'm excited. You're playing your butt off this year. You're having a good season. I'm excited to see what the offense has for us in the coming weeks.
All right, you have a good one.
You too. That is offensive lineman and center Liam Coppinger. Always good to talk to him. Some great answers. And now I get to highlight the superstar of last week, but we could also say maybe one of the superstars of the season. Derek Taylor here, safety for Eastern Kentucky. I'll invite him here to the stage. Hey, Derek, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Congratulations on a win this past week. What's the temperature of the defense coming off a win like that?
Oh man, we're fired up. I mean, anytime you get back in the win column, I mean, the team morale is always going to go up. I feel like.
Absolutely. And you guys were running all around in that back end, forcing turnovers. I want to do the same thing I did with Liam and kind of back it up for a second, because this day with the with transfer portal, not the NIL, transfer portal, it's a unique experience, and I think it brings its own challenges for people that hit the portal and go to a new school. You have seemingly made it the most seamless transition of all time, making an immediate impact. But when you were in the portal and you were making a decision on what school to go to, why did you decide EKU?
Yeah. So EKU was a school that had recruited me out of high school. Coach Derek Day and Coach Wells that are still here. They recruited me out of high school, but it's just something that I didn't choose at the time, and I still had that connection with Coach Day. And after my second season at Cumberland, I basically reached out to some people that I was trying to leave, and they just reached out to me, and we still had that connection. So it was awesome.
Yeah, and I actually remember after last season talking to Coach Day when he was recruiting you and you were in the portal, and he was mentioning you. He was stoked. Coach Day was obviously my coach. I can imagine that's a big point too. You talk about how they're both still here after recruiting out of high school. There has not been a lot of coaching turnover, which makes it really awesome when it comes to recruiting, and people can trust that their coach isn't going to leave. I know that was huge for us when I was there. Um, Now let's talk about what I talked about with Liam. You come in and immediately make an impact. You're a starter. You're usually one of the top three in tackles per game. You're forcing turnovers. What was that transition like to you? What challenges did that bring to come into a new school and have to earn that starting job? And then also, uh, first, just what challenges, and then what allowed you to navigate those challenges?
Yeah, so I mean, I knew it was going to be a challenge. Coming in, I didn't have the starting spot. It was something they told me that I was going to have to come in and earn. So I accepted that challenge. And obviously, you got to adapt to the playbook and then just the certain techniques that they use in their schemes and terminology and stuff like that. So I would say those would be the challenges.
Hmm. So when you come in and you learn all that stuff, and I mean, I can imagine that would be hard. You're just going from a different scheme and learning new things. What allowed you to was it the different teammates around you, or what helped you to get to this point where you are now, or was it just being able to adapt on the fly?
Yeah, I would definitely say the starters that came back, they definitely just helped me gel well within the defense, and then just also coming into this scheme, it's some of the stuff I've ran before, so just piecing together that terminology with maybe something I've already used just at a different word.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. That's a really neat perspective. When you look at, you came in and the other safety there's obviously getting all this national attention. Jaheim Ward, uh, All American preseason, all these different things, and to be able to play alongside of each other now. I mean, you guys have got to be one of the best, if not the best safety duo in FCS football. I can sit here and say that. What what is it like to be able to play off of each other? Is that something that you guys do in that room? And just speak about like you two both being ballers back there with Aiden Nelson behind you, who's also playing really well.
Yeah, I mean we're very deep in safety as well. I mean you mentioned Aiden and also Jeff getting a pick last week. Like
Yeah.
we're very deep in safety, but playing with Jaheim, I mean we both have just a lot of pros in our game. Like we're both very rangy, and you never know which one of us is going to roll down in the box. So I just think just having that much versatility at safety, it allows you to really mix up what you do within your defense.
Absolutely. And I think that's why you guys are both kind of the X factors that have, we obviously have an incredible D line and pass rush getting home. We got linebackers, we got corners and Vito and DJ out there. But the safeties have really been the X factor between. I never know which one of you is going to line up as that third looking linebacker in the box and who's going to be playing deep, because you guys could do both. I did want to ask this later. I'm going to ask it now. What does a week of prep look like for you? Because you're going to have to stick your face in the run game, and you guys both are doing that really well. And you're also going to have to play pass coverage, which you both are doing really well. Is that extra prep for you guys versus maybe a corner who just has to worry more about the pass? Or what does a week of prep and film look like, having to balance the run and the pass game?
Yeah, so you definitely got to break it down, separate. So just as far as the run game, a lot of teams they run the same run concept. So just figuring out what beaters, we may have from previous weeks and just knowing the correct fix for that. And then, again, as well in the pass game, they're going to go back to the beaters. So just really knowing what can hurt us in the defense that we run and then just getting the right drops and stuff like that.
You guys have navigated it very well, and you guys are doing a great job. I know Coach Wells used to always say this, probably still does. The best pass defense is a great pass rush. You've got a lot of guys who have gotten home this year. Brad Gurley has made an incredible impact. You've got Frank Lee, you've got Jeremiah Bailey, you've got Gabe Stevens, and the list can keep going. Cam Jr., Tommy Ziesmer, you got a lot of people there. What's it like playing safety and getting to go ball hawk when you got a pass rush getting home like that? And what do you have to say about the D line?
Oh, yeah, it definitely helps on the back end knowing that you're not going to have to cover for as long, knowing that them boys doing everything they can to get after the quarterback. And it also just makes the read, easier at safety, just knowing that he's not going to have time to sit back there and pat the ball. That really, once he gets on that third drop or that fifth drop, that ball's got to come out.
That's awesome. And I mean, it really has been incredible to watch with, Gurley has been one that seemingly has had his hand in every kind of pass rush that's gone on, every tip ball, every interception. And obviously, like I said, all the other guys are playing incredible. Coming off of last week, what would be your takeaway for the defense? What did you guys do well? What did you guys need to continue to improve on?
I think we did well, finishing drives. I mean, they had us pinned down there a couple of times, and we held them to 3. And that's something that we've worked on throughout the season, and seeing that play out for a Saturday was very good. And then you said something that we need to work on.
Yeah, just is there anything from last week that you guys are looking on like, okay, we want to build on this? Maybe it's just improving
we
what's
definitely
already
want to build on that pass rush that we were getting last week. I think if we can affect this quarterback this week, he's definitely going to throw us up something.
Yeah, that's great. And I mean, that is what brought you guys home on Saturday, to be able to force turnovers. And I think really with such a talented running back that you guys were playing, a guy that you knew coming into the game, they may feed 25, 30 times, to be able to see you guys get him out of the game early and force them into passing situations to where the athletes on the back end could make plays. It was something special to watch. Like I said, I asked about your takeaways then from Saturday. So now, kind of like you highlighted just now, going forward to Southern Utah, what are some things that we can look for out of their explosive offense?
Yeah, definitely. You can look for the run game. They got one of the top, running backs in the FCS. So, we got to bottle him up, stop that run game again, so we can get them to start throwing the ball up. And then also definitely their O-line. Their O-line is what really gets our running back going. So I think those would be the key factors to watch.
That's good to know. I think it's going to be a great showdown because you guys have proven to be. Well, I've said this about you. I've said this about Jaheim, and now I'm going to say this about the defense as a whole. You guys have shown to be one of the best defenses in the conference, in the country. Between goal line stands and even just being suffocating and keeping the team in it when maybe the ebbs and flows of the game may have the field position against you guys. You guys have to defend a short field a few times this year off of turnovers and different things, and you guys have been incredible. Talk to me about the culture of this defense that you're in right now and what makes you guys so dominant to its core.
Yeah, we got our core values. We're a very tight defense, and I think that's what helps us, play harder, that the person beside you is going to go 100%, and you got to go all out for your brother, so that you might not make the play, but if you slow the guy down, your brother's going 100%, and he's going to come in and clean him up for you.
Absolutely. When it comes to defense, I do believe it is emotional. It is a physical, violent, and emotional game. And I think you guys play with a lot of emotion. Some people like to stay real level-headed. Some people like to get real extra active, celebrating trash talk. Where do you fall on that spectrum? And what do you think about the different extremes of playing defense?
I like to stay level-headed on the back end, just because in the game there's so many keys and stuff you already got to read. Just try not to have any extra, noise in my head during the game is how I like to stay.
I get it. It really is a personal preference. There are some people that just you can look out there and you know that they're in their best mode when they're talking trash, and some people are locked in, laser focused. It's fun to watch. It makes it fun as a fan. I saw, I read your bio a little bit. If there was a sport that you were playing other than football, because it looks like football was in the genes. It looks like your dad had played football, and you've always been an incredible football player. If there was a sport you played other than football, what would it be?
I'd have to say basketball.
So I thought you may say that. So have the DBs ever taken the court? And if you had to guess, who's the best hooper in that room?
We actually haven't. But if I had to take a guess, I would probably say Aiden, because he did play at West Virginia.
I actually did know that and did not at all think about that when I asked that question, but that is pretty awesome. I would imagine Wells would not be thrilled if you guys took the court at least before the season. So maybe that's something that can happen after. When you came to Richmond, obviously, how long have you been in Richmond here? Did you come in the summer?
I moved here in January.
In January, okay, in the winter. So you've had almost a year here. When you're around town, what's maybe your favorite spot to eat, or maybe just favorite spot to go in Richmond?
I think the favorite spot that I've been to would be the Blue Stallion.
The Blue Stallion, it is a good spot. Have you
Yeah.
did the interview there?
hmm
That's awesome. Yeah, it's a good spot. The outside there is real nice. Talk to me kind of, obviously you talk about that relationship that you had with Coach Day and why you came here. But now that you've been here and you've played in Roy Kidd Stadium, obviously, we've recently lost the winning streak that we had, but it was one of the longest in history. How important is it to protect the turf at home this weekend? And what's that atmosphere like being on the field as a player?
Oh yeah, I mean, just building off last week, getting back in the win column. I think the biggest thing going into this week is just don't don't let what happened last time at home affect you this week. And then that's really what Coach Wells has been stressing to us in the team meeting this week is that just because we lost the streak at Roy Kidd doesn't mean we have to start a losing streak. Like we can restart that winning streak, get back in the right column.
Absolutely. You're one away from starting another 10-plus game winning streak, which I firmly believe you guys can. I really appreciate you coming on this show. I mean what I said. You've been incredible all year. Looking forward to seeing you continue this season, the next 3 games, and continue it strong and see what happens here at the end of the month.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me on here.
Absolutely. Thank you. That is starting safety, Derek Taylor. Incredible interview to talk to. Incredible player on the field. I can't stress that enough. And he does have more years of eligibility. So Liam is a senior. We do get to see more Derek Taylor past this season, which we are very fortunate about here in Richmond. He has been an incredible standout player on the defense. Now we kind of segue through like we normally do. Southern Utah is a talented team. Anyone that says otherwise or looks at 5-4 record or whatever they may be is crazy because they kind of have transitioned their team through the last 3 games. They coming into the first part of the season, they had their ups and downs as well as a team, but I think they've found their identity and their stride recently. The quarterback at the beginning of the season was throwing. He had a 3-game span. He had thrown 38 times, 33 times, 43 times, and they happened to have a losing record at the time. But now they kind of shifted their mentality. Their running back in the past 3 games has had 26 carries, 24 carries, and 34 carries. And they have shown their new identity is really to be a running team, which has been an interesting shift. They are 3-0 since that shift. They've beat Abilene Christian, they've beat Austin Peay, and they've beat Utah Tech. So kind of past that, Abilene Christian just knocked off Tarleton this week. Austin Peay, EKU beat Austin Peay. This conference is so deep and has so much parity because there really is a lot of incredible talent in this conference. I think it's a multiple bid league when you talk about the playoffs moving forward. 2, 3, I don't know about 4 teams, but it could. It certainly is one of the premier conferences in the FCS football division. But yeah, Southern Utah is going to be interesting. Their running back, like we mentioned, he has 200 carries this year. He has 1,300 yards, 19 touchdowns. He's going to be a lot to deal with, much like last week. As I mentioned, and really Derek highlighted, you need to get on that run game early, and have the offense rolling and put it on them early on defense, so that you put them in those passing situations, which our defense has shown to truly excel in our offense. I would love to see us. I think everyone would love to see us duplicate what we had last week in that type of success. Send Jacob Baker out there one time or no times and leave that weapon on the bench because the offense is just rolling. That would be incredible. This running back, he's known for some explosive plays. He's had longs this year of 59, 59, 67, and 92. So he does have that big playability. So that's something to watch on Saturday as the defense tries to bottle him up. Winning the explosive play battle like we talked about before, that's going to be really important this week. I know Wells is hammering that home, I'm sure, but also winning the turnover battle was a key factor last week against Central Arkansas. But this Southern Utah team is very interesting. Second in the conference in points for, second in the conference in points against. So take that as you may. they've shifted a little bit. You can tell that with this running game and running the ball, they're trying to keep games lower scoring and possess the ball longer. So that's another challenge for the defense with this talented offense that they're going to play. If I had to sit there, I would rather face a really talented offense because our defense has been that impressive this season. So I'm excited to see that, and I'm excited to see the offense build on what they had last week. I have to highlight, as always, the special teams came up and did good things on Saturday with Cal Wise with a big kickoff return for 51 yards. Jacob Baker, a 44-yard punt. Buzz making 2 field goals. Quade Luganville, Blake Howard, great snaps. Got to show my specialists some love. But really, to see them come out and play 2 consecutive games of good, strong 3-phase football will be exciting this weekend in Roy Kidd Stadium. I hope that you all join the game, show up 3:00, maybe show up earlier, tailgate a little bit, enjoy your time in Richmond and go on to cheer the Colonels because this season is far, far from over. After seeing the team on Saturday, that should have a lot of excitement to go be at the next 2 games at home. And, if you really feel like it, travel to Utah at the end of the year. But really stress, be there at home, be the difference. I know the defense would love some noise on those 3rd downs. So once again, as always, thank you so much for tuning in this week. I'm very grateful for my 2 guests and all their insight that they provided. Like always, check out John Clark State Farm because you truly can count on Clark. An incredible stand-up guy. He's out in the community. It's not hard to find him. He is doing all kinds of things for the Richmond community. Just take a look at his social media pages. Just take a look and see what he has going on out there. He is an impressive individual and a great person. So with that said, thank you all for tuning in. I hope to see you all next week on another victorious Thursday. And everyone, I will see you at the game this weekend. Go Colonels.